back.
We're back. Are we?
Episode number 212. And we're just talking about metal and other stuff.
That's what we do.
We thought we'd get really deep into feelings today, how we feel about stuff.
Yeah, let's please do. Because you can never hurt anybody's feelings out there in the world today.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
I could share a story about that just from this week.
I'm sure they're never ending.
I got into trouble for posting something online, and a band called up my employer, not really my employer, one of my customers, to complain about something I said online. And what I said online was so mild, I was like, really? Anyhow.
There's some pretty abrasive stuff online, but if anybody...
Mine wasn't abrasive at all. Mine wasn't that...
Well, and I'm saying that's just the thing. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, people get offended very easily these days. But in any case...
I let them go.
What's up, everybody? You guys got any shout-outs or anything you want to say before we get deep into the show?
I'm going to shout out Fraser Dawson right now because if he thinks I'm Santa Claus, this Santa Claus in about 6 months is going to be at his fighting weight, and he will come and kick your... I don't want to offend anybody by saying ass, but anyway.
Yeah, your beer's not white enough anyhow.
Yeah, I figure if I'm going to look like Santa Claus, I'm at least going to be a fit version that maybe it'll harken back to his Viking heritage, as you all know.
You have your daughter train you?
Yeah, my daughter trained me. In fact, I'll shout out her. She came down and visited for an hour with us on Saturday night. You know, I really appreciate people that can kind of make their own way, and so she loves training so much, she just figured she needs to have her own schedule or what have you. So she has taken on this photography idea and has become quite the shutterbug, and has paved a way for herself to be able to train full time and make a ton of money. So she came down and shot a strongman event down here in South Dallas area and came out and hung out with us for a while. So shout out to her. Carcass Spawn.
Carcass Spawn. Right on. How about you, Steve?
No, I got nothing to add this week. No shout outs. I'm barely awake. I was dozing
awake
for the show to start. Yeah.
Oh no.
I got a call last night at like 10 o'clock saying I had to be in the office today, so I had to get up at 5 going to the office, and it kind of me up for the day.
Well, I typically am up about that time, about 5 o'clock every day, and today I was supposed to meet a customer like right less than a mile from the house. So I just said, I'm not driving 30 miles to the office. I'm going to start there and just work my way around. So I actually got to sleep in an extra 30 minutes. It makes a difference. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get up at 6:30 normally for work, but yeah, that extra hour and a half completely throws me off. So,
yes, Fraser, that's the plan.
You go to Hell's Heroes? Right on.
Man, I'm disappointed. I really wanted to go, but we got other stuff going on that same time. I just wanted to go to see Sodom because when's the last time they played here?
Probably a New York City date, and probably it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They were supposed to play that big festival in Michigan they have every year, that big metal festival out there.
There's a Maryland Death Fest, and they were supposed to play there. And that was 2015. They were supposed to play there and didn't. But I think the last was M16, which is 20 years ago.
I was digging through old posters, looking for.
That's a cool.
Yeah.
Iced Earth, Nevermore, Destiny's End, and Angel Rot.
I saw that tour. Destiny's End with the infamous James Rivera and singing, and Tim Calvert playing guitar. That was quite the lineup.
Did Tim actually play on the CD? Actually, funny enough, I had the CD right here.
Oh, I think he did. I'm pretty sure that he did.
I'm looking right now because I'm curious.
Tony Clem. Thanks for showing up. Glenn Rogers is here early. That's great.
Nope, he's not listed.
Oh, he's not on that. Who played guitar? Nope. Or
I think it's the guys from. I'm pretty sure this whole band actually came from, with the exception
Italy
of
or some other place.
James, they all came from that California band.
New Eden.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So Brian Craig on drums, Nardo Andy on bass, Dan
Right.
DeLucci on guitars, Eric Halpern on
Oh,
guitars.
Eric Halpern. I'm sorry. That's who I meant. He's
Yeah.
from he's been in the Hellstar lineup a time or two. Yeah, Eric Halpern, great guitarist.
I mean, it's not that far off from what Hellstar was doing. I mean, a little more,
No.
pushing a little more towards power metal than Hellstar, but still, both those Destiny's Ends albums are great.
Yeah.
In any case, I just thought it was a cool poster.
Hellstar's got something coming out pretty soon, don't they? I think I just ordered a single off their upcoming album.
Yeah, they have a new record coming out.
I actually swiped this from the club that you were playing at.
Yeah. See, people ask me that all the time. They look around the house, they go, "Where did you get all this stuff?" Well, I go to a show, and after the show, they don't have to advertise anymore. So either ask somebody or just take it. I mean, come on, they're going to tear it down and throw it away anyway. So
yes, they are.
Anyway, Rob Colwell, what? Who is that guy? You haven't blocked him yet?
No, I tried, but he keeps coming back.
He's one of those technology wizards. Yeah, yep. I noticed the new BOC. Yes, I hope it's as good as the last one. I'll be very happy if that's the case.
Well, I see a lot of questions coming in, but before we get into that, I don't have any shout outs. So we're going to have a new segment we're going to start doing every week now. And unless we come up with a better name, maybe one of you guys has a better name, we're going to be calling it Carcass's Weekly Pick. So he's going to pick one album from his collection that he thinks everybody should check out, regardless of style or year it came out, not necessarily new release, and share it with us and tell us why. What he knows about it, maybe a story about it, and why we should be listening to it.
We can call it Carcass Pow, Pick of the Week.
Oh, there you go.
Carcass what?
Carcass Pow, Pick of the Week. Okay. Well, see, this would be actually a layup for me, because I could just tell you to, go get one of Scott's favorite albums, Osric Tentacles, Lotus Unfolding. I could tell you to do that.
Yeah, to make up for bringing it up last week.
Right, because we didn't. Well, and because of last week, I went ahead and pulled two because, Osric Tentacles live under Slunky was what got me into Osric Tentacles, and the thing is a good musician is never happy to just sit on his laurels. So the Ed Wynn solo project with Gray Vanderloo of Grace Rooms is also a top priority, but this was a little harder than I thought. So I hearkened back to my much younger days, decades ago, and I've decided that everybody, whether you're a metalhead or you're a hair metal guy or a grindcore dude or a rock and roller, I think everybody should have this in their collection. Boston's first album, self-titled. I actually have the Half Speed Master. I have a master recording, one of the Nautilus discs, just because it sounds so killer. But I think everybody should own that record. And that's just my opinion. But I bet you sit down and listen to it, and you would agree. That it's a flawless record. It's like the perfect AOR rock record, I think. And so I think everybody should own it. You can typically find it fairly cheap. I have a German copy, a Mexican copy, one from Brazil. I have copies because I love that record so much. It's one of those. It's like Scott. When he finds something that he likes, he has a million different variations of it. Yeah. And I actually had the chance to see them on the Don't Look Back tour before it was actually Don't Look. I mean, this was right before I left on my 2-year hiatus, and it was nothing short of spectacular. It was just. Boston is an amazing band, and I've seen them afterwards, and it harkens back to the same because the songs are great, but this album needs to be in everybody's collection, period, bar none. Well, I mean, in the Osric Tentacles too, but maybe next week.
I can't disagree with that one. I like that Boston album. I know a lot of metal fans dislike it. I think people just like things just because they're popular, where they've sold a lot of copies. You know what I mean? It's not underground, so you can't like it. I could give a crap if it's sold 20 copies or 20 million copies. If I like it, I like it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard it. I had a buddy a neighbor that lived next door, and he said, "Dude, you got to check this thing out." And I kept staring at the cover because I am graphically oriented. And I told him, I said, "Wow, that's a killer idea, the flying guitars." And he had no clue. He had the album for like a month, didn't realize that those were guitars flying in space. And he said, "Check this out." And from the first drop of the needle, it was magic, I thought. And I had that thing on a loop for a while. But anyway,
I even like Don't Look Back. I mean, I think that's a great album too.
I think they could have easily been a package deal. It was that was the perfect segue one into the other. But there are some metal parts. There's the booming drum sound. There's the ripping riffs, and I mean, you can't argue with the solos. And I mean, the vocals were nearly perfect. Come on, man. So take it or leave it.
Oh my gosh, and the vocals are like so over the top. I mean, not anybody can hit those notes.
No, and they've tried over the years, and bless their heart that they try. But
you know who did it and did a good job of it? Michael Sweet.
Yeah, our good friend Michael Sweet. Yeah, you have to go there, but that's what.
I mean, say what's real about the guy, but he sounded good singing those songs.
No, he did. He really did sound good. But anyway, that's my pick for the week, and stick around because who knows what my pick will be next week.
Gary Ayrton, new BOC. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that coming up. Have you heard King? Hey y'all. Hey, you know what? Hey, brother Lee. Haven't seen Lee in a while.
Okay, welcome.
Well, I just thought maybe we'd get into talking about new stuff we got, and then maybe we could talk about new stuff coming out after that.
Okay.
I have a couple of them really test pressing for this thing. This is the test pressing for Battlecross: Pursuit of Honor. Man, this thing is amazing. It sounds so good. I mean, Rob is such a humble dude, but man, I don't know what he does, but he's got a magic touch when it comes to mastering because he just made this thing pop. I'm just amazed. It's funny because the label putting this out, which is a new label called Backbreaker Records, backbreakerrecords.com, they I think they're only pressing up 300 copies of each on the vinyl of each of their albums on vinyl. They were worried that they weren't going to sell, and they've been on sale for a couple weeks now. Well, all of a sudden, the band caught on to this coming out, and the band started advertising it, and now they're flying off the shelves and disappearing. So, if anybody's interested in the new Battlecross or the Battlecross, all three of them.
I think we lost him.
There. You were frozen in time there for a minute.
There,
I was.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm just excited about that one because I really like Battlecross. I've seen them live a couple times, and I think they're a great crossover between thrash and death metal. Definitely closer to thrash and death metal, but it does.
I might have even. We'll have to check with Tanner, but I think I actually saw them with Madrost one time. Madrost, Jungle Rot. Anyway,
is my autographed CD copy.
Right on.
Yeah,
man, they sort of disappeared for a while. What have they been doing lately?
They are. I think they're not together at the moment, or at least they're not doing anything at the moment. But I even have after the show, the band was out there, and I was talking to them, and they were throwing picks out to the crowd, and I'm like, "Hey, you got any more picks?" And he's like, "Yeah, here you go." And he grabbed this purple pick and he just signed it and gave it to me.
Wow, that's very cool. I got lots.
He wrote, so
you got to go to a show to get that stuff.
That's a really personalized pick,
Yep.
So anyhow, I thought that was cool. I don't know, I'm a big fan of that band, so I'm glad that stuff's finally coming out on vinyl. Surprised Metal Blade they put out on vinyl years ago.
Yeah, it's a shame that the bands have to wait until they're almost done before good things like this start happening. But hopefully this will.
It is so hit or miss on some of the stuff they put out is stuff that nobody wants, and there's so much stuff that everybody wants that they just kind of ignore.
And it's another one. I can't believe this thing didn't come out on vinyl to begin with, and it's finally. And Black River's Flow is out on vinyl, coming out on vinyl too.
Yep, same label.
Also on Backbreaker Records, but yeah, because I just got the where'd it go? There it is. I just got the CD version of it, the remastered CD version. Anyhow,
those are great albums.
I saw them opening for Destruction at a tiny, tiny little room, the old Lola's over off of 7th Street in crazy Fort Worth, and man, it was people were literally spilling out of the building like they left all the doors and windows open. People were literally body surfing and flying out of the venue.
Well, they're a funny one because they were a great band. They were only around for like 4 years before one of the guys, I think it was the guitar player died or the drummer died.
The drummer died. The drummer, Lazarus AD's drummer died, yeah.
And they ended the band, and none of them have gone on to do anything else. They all just kind of vanished after that. It's a really weird one.
Kind of strange how stuff like that. Well, I mean, that's a traumatic episode. Well, yeah,
definitely. One thing kind of cool about that Backbreaker Records, unlike other record companies that I thought was kind of cool, is they actually have up now what's coming out in the future, so you'll know what's coming and dates of when they're going to put it on sale, as opposed to waiting until the last second and then throwing it on everybody. So I thought that was kind of cool. They got like 10 releases coming out that they haven't even started yet. Anyhow, I just thought that was a cool idea, as opposed to hiding it and being all secretive about it.
Oh, and by the way, for what it's worth, R.I.P. Toby Keith. I mean, whether you're a country guy or not, that dude was pretty solid and pretty salty with the old.
He was young too. What was he? 62.
62, which is way too young.
I didn't know when did he die. I didn't even know he died.
Yesterday morning.
Last night.
Yeah, late last night, yesterday morning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had stomach cancer.
Oh, that sucks.
And we know that cancer is just an unforgiving.
Well, he's one of the few artists in country these days. He actually wrote almost all of his songs. Most country artists these days, it's like pop music where they have songwriters that write everything for them, and he was one of the few that didn't. So,
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the guy who was really good friends with Ted Nugent and they used to go out and do stuff for the troops together and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, sir. But anyway, so I mean, we can still be humanitarian, even though I listen to country. But speaking of which, you want to get into what we've been listening to lately?
Yeah, go for it. That's what we're doing,
up? I mean, every time I pick something up, I typically listen to it, and that's why I pick it up. But I don't know. You want me to start, or you want to start? Go ahead, start.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I did the battle.
I just got a few that I ran across the last couple of days. I've been finding some good stuff, so I'll show that, and then I'll show some of the stuff that I've been listening to. But I've talked about this band a couple times. I finally found their record, Order of the Owl. If you haven't heard, guys. These guys, killer doom band, really fuzzy. I went to the Doom Festival here, and there were bands like Pentagram and COC, and it was all like the biggest sludge and doom bands. And these guys stood out above all of them. I was already familiar with them because the singer was in another band called Zoroaster that was pretty big here in Atlanta. And they didn't have a merch table because they didn't have any merch. It had all sold out their last show. So it was cool to finally get this. And then speaking of country, I don't know if you guys remember this band. You guys remember Raging Slab?
Oh, yeah. I certainly do.
Mm-hmm. You check these guys out, Scott?
Nope. I need to check them out, though. I have.
Well, here's what the hype sticker says. Leonard Skinner meets Metallica. And that's kind of what they are. It's definitely in the house.
Then I definitely need to check that out.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I would describe Brand New Sin, which I would.
More like a Load and Reload, not less like Master of Puppets. But
still, it's really good.
But yeah, I like Raging Slab. What did they put out? 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, it was only a few. That's the first time I've seen it on vinyl, though. And then you guys all know this one.
Yep, I've actually got a Japanese pressing of that one. But yeah, that's kind of how these guys are. They're kind of a mixture of metal and southern rock.
Yeah,
nice upgrade of the Diamond Rex. And then I might have showed this one already. Welcome to Venice. I've been looking for an upgrade on this for a long time. You guys remember this one?
Is that the comp with Suicidal and
Beowulf? This is early though. This was 83 maybe. Yeah, this was super early, but really good. And I don't know about. Maybe you guys know. I just picked this one up because kind of a blind buy. Do you guys remember know this band Siren?
I recognize that cover. I've seen it before, but I don't know that album at all.
It's German metal, so it was $8. I was like, screw it, I'll give it a chance. And then I ran across this was cool, white label promo of
nice.
Japanese white label promo. Sorry, of
Nice.
Force. And then the same guy also German pressings of Lights Out and then Obsession.
Nice. I'm a huge.
Man, that sounds like the jackpot.
Yeah, that was half of that was one store and half was that was the nice thing about me having to go to work today, is there's 2 record stores by the office that I only hit like once a month or so, and it seems like I end up spending way too much every time I go to work because of that.
Don't we
I
all?
just happen to have sitting
Oh,
on
there
my
you go.
desk next to me.
See, I'm the same way too.
These came in the mail today too.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah, these are the only 2 I didn't have. Now I just need the EP, but the EP is like $150 on CD, so I probably won't be getting that. But
those so badly need to be put on vinyl.
Yeah,
but
all their stuff, they've only put one out of their 6 albums. They've only put 1 on vinyl. So
yeah, and the one that's on vinyl is my favorite of all of them. So
yep.
You like Extol, John?
Yes. Rob had hooked me up with the. Didn't you guys put something out on? Was it Boone's Overstock or?
Yeah. They Retroactive put out one of their. That was kind of a change in style though, because the first 2 albums are like a mixture of Norwegian black metal and
death metal.
Yeah, these were more like crossover hardcore with
thrash. Yeah,
they were thrash. Yeah,
they changed their sound, and then after that they changed it again. It's more progressive metal. They're kind of in the Opeth territory on their last album.
Wow.
Yeah,
which is my favorite. Which, like I said, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
of all
it's a fantastic.
I've seen them live several times. Actually, I played a couple shows with them.
Can you imagine that scene though? I mean, they came out of the Norwegian. They're a Norwegian band. They've talked about doing shows with the Norwegian black metal bands, where they're a Christian black and death metal band. Playing with some of it's insane, some of the stories that they've told about that stuff.
It's kind of like Believer playing on the Milwaukee Metal Fest right before Deicide.
Yeah.
Well, you heard the story about Tourniquet playing with Deicide, right?
Oh no, but I'm sure that there are tales to tell about that, because Deicide. I'm sorry, Glenn Benton's an a-hole deluxe.
That's exactly what he is. But yeah, they Tourniquet never got to play. They were there, but they never got to play because Glenn Benton refused to go on stage if they allowed Tourniquet to play.
What a maroon, as Bugs Bunny would say. Well, speaking of black metal and jerks, I did find this the other day. This is Mayhem, and it's live at Leipzig.
Oh yeah,
it was their first gig. It sounds phenomenal. It's a limited edition Peaceville deal that they put out, and I just found it randomly, and it was $11.
I love this. I love the sound of that record.
Yeah, it does sound good. They were onto something for sure.
Yeah.
And then John Perez, I was at Born Late talking to John Perez about the Rotting Corpse, which we'll get to later. The Rotting Corpse on Turkey Baster Records is coming out soon on vinyl. There'll be several of the red, yellow, and then red, yellow swirl. It's going to be a killer deal. I did the cover. It was great. But just for the music part of it and the historical value. But anyway, he was playing this Axe. And I've seen this in the I don't know, the cutout bins or whatever, but I found this thing. It was in a cutout bin. It was $4. It's a promo, white label promo. But this is great heavy metal, kind of along the line of early. It would be like a more psychedelic version of Dawkins or what have you, but Axe, the very first album. And so I don't know why I was on a roll with Axes, but here's Axe Attack Volume 2. I don't have Axe Attack Volume 1, but this has got Rainbow, Motorhead, Black Sabbath, Samson, Michael Schenker, Rush, Scorps, Priest, UFO, Blue Oyster Cult, Gillian, Ted Nugent, Def Leppard, Iron Maiden, and Whitesnake. And it's just
the first Axe Attack is almost the same.
Yeah, and it's I think it's an import. Yes, it is. It's and it's on KTEL, as you can tell by the corner up there, but it says it was pressed in England. I found that for I think that was $4.
Those KTEL comps were huge for me in the 80s. Going to Circle K and picking them up for $5 or $6. Yeah. I learned so many new metal bands from those really shitty comps.
Yeah, and like I that's how I got kind of a smattering of this, that, and the other. Here's an interesting one. I collect these Taiwanese bootlegs. I know they're bootlegs because sometimes you open them up and you look inside and it's a cover of another record that they just folded inside out to make another cover of a record. But I don't know, quality's not bad. But for $3 and a novelty, and then I've got plenty of other stuff that I picked up. But here's this is the tip of the iceberg. Have you heard of Hair of El Perro?
Mm-mm.
Nope, new one to me.
Okay, this is the guy. This is the guy that's in Radio Moscow. He's the guitarist and singer for Radio Moscow, Parker Griggs. And if you have a chance, pick this up. Anything with Radio Moscow, it is southern flavored desert rock from California. And I don't know if the rest of the band just said, we're done. And he went on to do something. This is basically his solo project, but man, it sounds just like Radio Moscow continued, and it won't disappoint you. But I found this. The color, there's about 6 or 7 different covers. They're all different color, same graphic. And then, of course, the vinyl is, I can't remember what. Oh, okay. This is a kind of a magenta, clear magenta, and it's pretty cool. But sonically, it sounds brilliant. And Parker Griggs is really awesome. If you like Cactus, Dust, stuff like that, you'll really dig Radio Moscow, and you'll really dig Parker Griggs. He's got kind of the same guitar tone as maybe ZZ Top, like Billy Gibbons. Really fuzzy, but very precise. Clean playing, but fuzzy sound. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's just some of the things that I found recently. And I tell you, I've been on a budget lately. I was telling Steph, who's under the weather, by the way, and I'm sending all my positive healing vibes her way today because she's really kind of miserable. But anyway, she said, "Man, you haven't bought a record in a long time." I said, "Yeah, I know. I mean, what I'm showing you is probably over the last 2 or 3 months, but it's just been sitting there because I've been so busy with work and shows and preparing for this big deal in July that I haven't really listened. But I've been actually sitting down and taking time out to listen to records, and it's very therapeutic."
Yes, it is.
You got any more? Because I got
plenty.
Okay.
I'm sure Steve does too, but
I know you do. Oh, I was going to tell you, Scott. You sent me down a 7-inch rabbit hole, and I started. It started with Mark Fields, who sent me their latest project, this Public Death, and this thing is phenomenal. If you like crossover, Doom, Disrupt, Discharge. Any of those types of bands, the Verukers, man, Public Death is even a heavier, faster version of that. And so he sent me this, and I got on a 7-inch kick. Plus, then every time I look, Scott's got new stuff posted. Speaking of Doom, check this out. This is a second pressing from '91. Doom, a Police Bastard on Profane Existence Records, which is in Minneapolis, which is kind of funny because I lived up there. But it's got the little comic book and everything with it. You've heard of Nausea, haven't you? Oscar Garcia. He was the original singer with David Vincent, Pete Sandoval, and Jesse Pintado in Terrorizer. This is the same type of stuff. And then I'll end with these two and then let you have the floor. Hyperdontia. I think I showed this once. Abhorrence Veil. I love Hyperdontia. They're from Denmark. If you're into grinding heavy death metal, please check them out. And then here's a rare bird. How about Voivod Entombed AD Split? And I looked at it up close, and it's signed by Oli from Entombed. And I just randomly found it in a stack of things over at Born Late, and we're working a little exchange over there because the barter system is sometimes great when you don't have any money. And but anyway, so anyway, what you got, Scott? Because I got more stuff.
I don't remember if I showed any of this stuff last week, but this one has been getting a lot of play.
I need to get that. I've heard nothing but good about it.
I mean, I've heard nothing. Well, at first I heard nothing but praise. Now I'm starting to see people saying, it sounds just like Priest and just like Accept. It's Andy Sneap makes everything sound the same.
No, that's
okay.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he makes everything sound amazing. Yeah, I agree. Because this album is really, really good, and Biff sounds great. You've got I forgot his name. Brian Tatler on guitar
from
from
Diamond Head.
Diamond Head. This is amazing. I really can't. I've only had it for a little over a week, and I probably paid it 3 or 4 times already. So, and then this is another one I've only got to hear it once, but I was really. Their last album was good, but it didn't like grab me by the jugular and keep me listening. But this one, I really have been enjoying it. But it's the new Rods album.
Wow, I didn't even know they had a new record out.
Yeah,
Rattle the Cage, and there's no like, they're not out there preaching anything. There's no hidden messages. They're not lambasting Trump or anything else. You know what I mean? It's just
I always like the Rods. Rods were always just good street metal,
Yeah,
is that David Feinstein?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So metal. You got tracks on here like Metal Highways, Hell or High Water, Play It Loud, Hearts of Steel. It's just
sounds heavy metal to me.
Metal. Yeah, I and of course I love the way they played off their most popular album, the Wild Dogs album,
right,
with the dogs in a cage.
Yeah,
it looks to me like it's AI, but it's still really well done, regardless of what it is.
Sure.
So, I got a beef with the AI covers. I just worked with a band who was like they wanted to they have an album they recorded back in the day that never came out, and one of the labels I worked for was putting it out, and they were like, we want this cover and we want this and we want this and we want this and we want this and we want all these, and it sounded like this like extravagant painting, and I said, can we do something different besides the typical AI Adobe Photoshop covers? I'm so tired of every cover looking exactly the freaking same.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, if you have a better idea, give it to us. So I ended up doing something black, which I love, and they loved it. So anyhow, I'll show that one in the future when I can. But
okay.
We got lots of comments. Hang on, let's see what we got here.
Yeah, we might ought to think about talking about because I get asked all the time. I still do things by hand. I don't. The only computer enhancements I may have is just where I clean it up and scan it into the computer so I can send it to you. But for the most part, it's still a hand-drawn item.
Gary Ireton says New Rods is great as well. Let's see, anybody else? Nope. Yep. But yeah, we're going to talk about new albums shortly too. We're getting close to that point where we need to. And then I'll just show one more. This one I only barely know because I'm just getting used, but I've been listening to it. But it's the new Scanner.
How is that?
The Cosmic Race starts off. I was like, man, are these guys now a prog band now? Because it started off really ethereal and proggy, but then it just goes straight forward into some great old school heavy metal, power metal, whatever you want to call it. I'm liking it. Like I've only heard it once all the way through, so it's hard to really say if it's 2 thumbs up without giving it a few more spins. But I like what I heard the first time through. So
understood.
Yep. So anyhow, what do you got, Steve? You got something else you want to show?
Yeah, this is what I've been listening to for the last week. This is an anniversary edition of Into the Black from Sanctuary. It's got a second disc with demos, and the third disc is live. Man, the live stuff is fantastic on here.
That's the thing. His voice was not a studio trick. He could pull that stuff off live.
So much better live. He sounded good, especially the first album. His voice sounded really good, but man, he is so much better. I always compared it to like almost like King Diamond, but more controlled. He didn't kind of go all crazy in the highs.
Right.
I kind of liked his voice a little bit better, but so I've been listening to that quite a bit, and that led to me pulling out the other 2 Sanctuary albums, But and then this is one. It was just kind of a blind buy. This is like, oh man, where are these guys from? It's Belgium, maybe? No, that's not right. Swedish, some Swedish glam metal from the '80s. Treat.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is a comp, so it's got their best stuff on here. Each of their albums only had a couple of good songs, and even this, the first two songs are throwaways, but the rest of it's really good. But that was a blind buy for like $8. And then I kind of went down the Gravedigger rabbit hole, as I do from time to time. I pulled out Ballads of the Hangman and gave that one a few spins. Which
Gravedigger moves all the time. They do the same thing.
Pulling out The Clans Are Still Marching. The Clan stuff is my favorite from Gravedigger, and this is just a killer live album. And then that led to Tunes of War, which is probably my favorite Gravedigger. Listened to this one a few times. And then pulled out some YNT. Hadn't listened to any YNT in a while, so gave Black Tiger a couple of spins. Always a favorite. And then this is one that Scott turned when Scott was out here. I guess it was last year, right?
Yep.
So he turned me on to this. Was one that you'll like, John. You can get this online too on Discogs for like $30. But Jimmy Hott's Beyond the Crystal Sea.
Such a great album.
Oh man, it's like what is it?
That looks like Uber cheese, but this is those are the types of things that I always am looking for.
It's like progressive space rock. I mean, it's really cool. Good. It's 1980, so it's a little late for that sound. It's a little late for this type of album art. But it's such a great album. Every time I play,
it definitely sounds like 1975 or 4.
Yeah.
So tell me what the title is again.
Jimmy Hott's Beyond the Crystal Sea.
Hots, H-O-T-S?
H-O-T-Z.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because I was playing it in the background in one of my videos a long time ago, and Metal Theologian was watching the show, and he was like, "Dude, what was that you were playing in the background? That's fantastic!" And he ended up loving it. So, it's a great album.
Well, you know what? I'll be checking out after the show for sure.
And then the last two, I was supposed to go see this band this last Sunday night, but we got a really nasty storm, so I stayed home. The venue has a big dirt parking lot, and I didn't want to be covered in mud. But this is Go Ahead and Die. This is Max Cavallera's side project with his son. It sounds like every other Max Cavalera project. It's really good. His son is actually on vocals for most of it. Definitely worth checking out. I really dig this one. They have a new EP that came out too. And the main reason I was going wasn't even to see the band. I wanted to get some more stuff signed by Max, but like I said, I didn't feel like going out in the weather. And then I just listened to this one earlier today. This is I forgot how good this album is, but Broad is the Gate from Saint.
Yep, that's a solid one.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been spinning lately.
Gary Ayrton asked if you guys have heard of Wigwam, and yes, I have. I have some of the.
They have
a new album out, but Wigwam is I don't know, kind of glam metal, I guess you'd call them. But they're a newer band. I really like them, though. I just haven't got the newest one yet. So
never mind. I thought I had Wigwam. It's Wallop that I was thinking of.
Wigwam is definitely more glammy, but I thought I got a couple before we get into talking about new stuff. I thought I'd show this one because I was shocked to get this thing at a killer price.
Oh man, see you're on the 7. See now I'm on the hunt again for 7-inch stuff, but especially stuff. Like if I'd have seen that, even if I didn't buy 7 inches, I would have bought that because
I bought these. I bought these yesterday.
Nice. I have one. I have one of them in my package for you. What are the 3 you got?
God of Thunder with Flamin' Youth, Beth, which I've got like 37 copies of, and then Made for Loving You with Hard Times.
Oh, yeah.
$2 a piece.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up a few cool things recently. I got that this one, which it's Japanese. It's an original pressing. It's kind of interesting though because usually the Japanese pressings just have the slip sheet and in a record company sleeve, but this is actually just a regular old,
Oh wow, yeah, you don't see many of those.
Not many. Yeah, there's a few, but I barely ever see them. But you guys all know that I'm a Ted Nugent fanatic, and I found
really
2 different pressings of Sweet Revenge. This is a UK pressing of Sweet Revenge, backed with what's on the inside? Ain't It the Truth? And then this is a US pressing of Sweet Revenge, but it's a promo pressing, so it's got the mono and the stereo versions.
Well, and you
And
know,
it's
Discreet Records. You know whose record label that is, don't you? Isn't that Frank Zappa's one of his
but
spin-off labels?
but it was I thought it was in the wrong sleeve, but I looked it up and it's the correct sleeve. It actually was Warner Reprise that was putting these out because this one's on a Warner Reprise sleeve too. Both of them are, so that's kind of cool. And this one's really heavy. This next two I'm going to show you really, really heavy.
Is that Dave?
Little Dave Clark 5 Japanese pressing.
That's how well I know you. As soon as you showed it, I knew who it was.
You know what? I bought this one because the guy selling the Jimi Hendrix one had this in there for $5, and there's no additional shipping. $5 for a Dave Clark.
He likes to blame his dad. He likes to say that he buys that because of his dad, but just admit that you love that band.
I do. I love the band, but I love it because it was something me and my dad shared. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I same thing with I like the Stones and I like the Beatles and a lot of that stuff that came out back then. But I don't really collect a lot of their stuff. But how about this one? This is a heavy one too.
Wow, hey, is that the Peter Green?
That early Fleetwood Mac is pretty heavy, man. People don't realize if you guys haven't checked out the Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac, I mean it's basically hard or heavy blues. The original version of Green Monalishi that they do, I think, is heavier than the Judas Priest version. It's so good.
I'll show two more real quick, and then I'll be done with the singles because I could do that forever. But I turned a bunch of people onto this one.
I still haven't got mine in.
Artists? Oh man,
mine just came in. So yeah, this is their 1980 single for.
That's like their third single.
That is a killer band too.
The band, somebody from the band or a family member of the band found a bunch of old tour shirts, old patches, and about 20 of these singles and put them on eBay for $10 each. They're gone. They disappeared in a day. For $10, this thing is usually like a $50 single, and there's no sleeve on it. I mean, I do have two pressings of this. There's a second pressing of this on a blue label. This is the original on the black label, and then this one I'm just stoked that I found a good copy of.
Yeah,
Liar, German heavy metal.
I actually got 3 more 7 inches for you, Scott, that I just picked up. New World again from Rush. And then
Rush singles don't show up very often.
I was surprised to see I got this one for free because the price wasn't on. I had already spent like $60. I was like, you can just have it. But Full in the Rain from Led Zeppelin.
Oh, that's cool.
With Hot Dog on the back. And then I might have shown you this one. I don't remember. But Our Finest Hour from Overkill.
Oh, that's a good one. I have that one.
Killer.
Cool.
I got a couple more, but I mean,
go for it.
What are we doing here? It's 43 minutes.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, I have a friend in Denton. His name is Mort White. He does funeral stuff, kind of ambient, dark soundscapes, and he's pretty much exclusively on tape. And so that's right up my alley. And so every time he releases a rehearsal or whatever, I get a tape from him, and this is one of them. This is the Stygian Facades rehearsal tape. I did find some really interesting stuff. Have you heard of a band called Noisem?
Yep.
No. Cool cover though.
Another.
That was an old grind band, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and they're killer. And this is the last one. I didn't have this one. It's Agony Defined. It's on red wax, and it looks and sounds brilliant. So I've been listening to that. And so yeah, they're like 8 or 9, I think. But that was the one I didn't have. So this one was a real. Once again, it's called Satanica. It's a Czech band, and I thought I have no idea what this is going to be like, but I found them on YouTube, and this thing rips. It is old school 80s thrash, but these guys are brand new. They put this thing out in 2015 or 18. This thing shreds, and this is a Mark Riddick. I thought it was a Daniel Sawblade, but they have very similar styles, so I've been listening to the heck out of that thing. And then there's a band from Austin called the Black Angels.
Yeah.
And you would buy these just for the trippy covers, because every one of them has a very bizarre trippy cover on it. And if you put the 3D glasses on, this really looks very cool.
Yeah, I bet it does.
But I've been listening the heck out of these. This is kind of like I don't know, shoegaze for Leonard Skinner fans. It's kind of weird. They have these sullen moments, and then they have these searing. It's kind of like Elder with more vocals, or
They get pretty psychedelic too.
yeah, I really dig them. There's kind of a new, they're kind of a new band for me. But then once again, one of my recommendations. Well, I'll save that for next week. Yeah, I'll save that for next week because I found another copy of my favorite Scorpions record, and I'll discuss that at another time. But anyway, so let's talk about the new stuff coming out, because we've already made mention of the Blue Oyster Cult. You've talked about the Saxon. I know Accept comes out in May. Oh, Satanica is
are Italian.
Oh, okay. It's on a Czech label. That's all I knew about them. I haven't been able to find out much about them, but they rip. That's all I know.
Yeah, the old school Fleetwood Mac stuff is great. Let's see here. Yep. Yes, I am. Nugent, Aerosmith. You got it. Cooper, another one. Thin Lizzy. Yep. There's a lot of them that I'm addicted to. Judas Priest. Yep.
Morbid Saint got one coming out in a couple of weeks. You remember them?
Oh, yeah, we've got Kerry King releasing a new single.
And I heard it. What do you think?
It's all right. It sounds like Slayer.
It sounds like Slayer. I don't know. I liked what I heard, but
I was telling Scott earlier. I said if Kerry King were the smart guy, he would let Phil Demmel just write all the riffs, and then he would just backfill all the guitar leads or whatever. And Phil's a fairly accomplished lead player too, but I mean, in my opinion, Phil Demmel, when he left Violence and joined Machine Head, which is unbelievable because he and Rob Flynn are not close. And, but he literally exhumed Machine Head from the depths of being dead and gone. And the albums that he plays on are phenomenal. I think I really like those and I like the first two Machine Head, don't get me wrong, but by the time Supercharger hit, I was all done.
Well, that third album, they started doing like second rate new metal and just killed all credibility until Blackened came out.
And of course, Paul Bostoff. I mean, can anybody argue that point? And who do they have playing bass again? I can't remember.
I just saw it today. God.
Anyway. And then Mark Osageda from Death Angel.
Yeah,
vocals.
Man, that's gonna. Yeah, I'm actually gonna. I didn't buy tickets to see them, but I'm going to the first day of one of the festivals in Florida for like 3 other bands. But they're one of the side stage bands. Is Kerry King's new band.
It won't be side stage for me. I would be on that right away.
Say side stage. There's 5 stages there, and 3 of them are big stages. He's on the third smallest. It's still a big stage. It's still like.
Gotcha.
So let me get this. Who is singing for who?
Mark Osageda from Death Angel is singing for the new Kerry King project. Phil Demmel is his lead guitarist, and Paul Bostoff is his drummer, and I can't for the life of me remember the.
We crossed over from Kerry King into Machine Head and back into Kerry King, and I wasn't sure if you said.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. If Kerry King
bands are in his new band.
I'm sorry.
I just got a little confused.
If Kerry King were smart, and I'm not saying he isn't, but he would just let Phil do all the riff writing. But anyway, New Exhorder. Anybody?
Yeah,
I think they're better with Kyle playing guitar. I don't know why.
I really like the last album.
Yeah, the last album was awesome.
And I got it sitting right here, right next to me here. The Blue Oyster Cult Ghost Stories was just announced this week, I think, Monday. Mm-hmm. So they have a new album coming out this year. Of course, we know Judas Priest has got a new album coming out really soon. I already pre-ordered that one. Except, oddly enough, they have a new album coming out called Humanoid, which is awful close to Hugh Machine. And the front cover looks an awful close to the Primal Hugh Machine record too. It's just a little odd. I know it's a coincidence, but it's just funny that Accept's new album has similarities to the Primal album. But I'm looking forward to that too.
The computer only comes up with so many ideas, I guess.
Yeah.
So I always buy the Accept stuff. I love Accept. I'm also a big TT Quick fan, so it's just it's a
I mean,
no-brainer
am I
for
going to
me.
be blasphemed here if I say I actually like his vocals better than Udo?
His vocal, Mark Tornillo's vocals are amazing. The last 4 albums are some of the best stuff they've done since the '80s.
And the last
Then
4
again,
Udo records?
and you got Udo here, and this album.
Actually, the last few Udo records have been really good too. To be perfectly honest,
Okay. All right.
This one here is fantastic. That's what I was.
Gary Battle is a funny one. I liked their first couple albums, and then I kind of stopped listening when I think the guitar player that wrote most of their stuff left the band, didn't he? And started a new band. Or maybe Battle Beast is a new band, and I'm mixing them up. But yeah.
Anybody like Battle Beast?
Oh, is Exciter got new thing coming out?
Ooh,
I don't know. I haven't heard about Exciter, but maybe it wouldn't surprise.
Battle Beast. Yep. I don't know that I have everything, but I do have quite a few from them. They don't have. I mean, it's not like they have an extensive catalog, but
yeah, Rage has a new album coming out. Their albums are getting to the point where they're starting to sound similar, but I still like them. Did you pre-order the new Riot yet, Scott? That's coming out in about 2 months.
Riot 5 or no, didn't do that yet, but I'm pretty sure I just saw that. Hang on, let me look.
Earache my eye. Sure you are. Looking forward to the new Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, I heard that was like the big the other night.
Yeah, the Super Bowl's pre-planned. They're going to win. They help promote the album and blah blah blah. Anyway,
the Fire. Speaking of Firewind, Forged by Fire and Allegiance are both coming out on vinyl, which will be nice in the U.S., not in Europe.
Here you go, Scott. The Other Ultimatum has an album coming out in a couple months.
The Other Ultimatum?
Yeah.
Who is the Other Ultimatum?
I don't know. There's like wasn't there like one from Europe too? An ultimatum. Europe?
There's been several of them. There was one that existed before ours from Mexico as well. But when we picked our ultimatum name, there wasn't internet to go and look for other names.
So. Oh wow, this is a Romanian death metal band called Ultimatum. I might check that out just to.
Yep, that might be kind of fun.
Romanian death metal sounds like. Avengers got a new album coming out. Oh no, it's a box set. It's their complete recordings.
Ooh, Pagan Altar being reissued. That's cool.
Damien Hair Metal. I'm going to put the link for you into the Firewind releases that are coming out. I just threw them in the comment section for you. Cool. Yeah. And then of course we have the new Carcass POW every week. That's exciting.
Carcass
like that
POW.
Carcass.
I'm telling you, it's gonna have to be a new shirt.
POW, man. Prisoners of War or Pick of the Week. Yeah. I don't know if it's. We already said too that isn't. When is the new Hellstar coming out? Does anybody know?
I want to say May, but I
just heard the single, so I'm not sure. Oh, who did I just read about today? Striker. Striker has a new album coming out.
Oh, nice, from Canada.
In February, and like a week, February 9th or 10th or something like that.
Well, that would be this week. Friday.
Oh yeah.
Where's it available at? I'm already looking for it online while we're talking.
I remember reading something about it earlier today. It's called Ultra Power.
I'm looking for it now to see if it. Oh, no, Play to Win is the only thing coming up here. Huh. Have to figure out where that one's at.
Mick Mars, really?
Yeah, Mick Mars is.
Yeah, he's got a new album coming out. It's supposedly pretty good. I haven't heard it, but
I think that's this month too.
You know, Rob and I used to have these discussions about there's so much music out there that pretty good just sort of goes by the wayside. I just have to pretty much find things that are mind blowing. But anyway, to each their own.
You can get it from the it's only $15. The Striker.
Nils is talking about some Slovakian black metal band, and I have never heard them, but I am Mallorca Panton. I will definitely check that out.
There's only one ultimatum. See, right
Only
there.
one old tomato.
That's it. Old tomatoes. That's it. Oh, and there's new Iron Curtain coming out too, apparently. So thanks for all the tips everybody's giving us, because I didn't know anything about that one either.
Oh, Scott, look what I found today. Actually, I forgot to show this.
Oh, right on. Cassette single.
Yeah, it's a pre-release promo.
That's cool. I've never seen that before.
Only from was that Sounds of White Noise? I think.
Sound of White Noise. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, forgive me. Who is Eric My Eye? Because this dude's got some killer recommendations. He's talking about the new Vulture.
Vulture had a new album coming out. They're Canadian too, aren't they?
Vulture.
I did see that Vulture had a new album coming out.
Oh, are they German? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vulture's great.
Yeah, what other? Oh, and Dark Angel is working on their new album that's supposed to come out this year. I'm really.
Boy, we've been hearing about that for what, a year?
We've been hearing about that for like 4 years when they first started talking about getting back together.
Except that I know for a fact that they've been in the studio. So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we had Ron on, and he kind of gave us little hints about it.
Oh, that's right. He did mention that they had already started recording stuff.
But I'm looking forward to that. So he calls me all excited, telling me how, dude, what do you hear this song? It's the heaviest thing we ever recorded. And I'm like, right on, Ron. And he'll like play me bits and pieces of it over the phone. And I'm like, dang, it sounds great.
Yeah. Well,
new Anthrax, interesting.
I didn't hear about that, but I'm actually and I'm going to see in a couple months.
Hey, if I can, and if I can reiterate it, the Rotting Corpse, it's a pile of demos and some unreleased stuff, and rumor has it that they're actually going to record new music, and so it won't be the rehash of everything, but it's coming out on vinyl, be 300 copies, Turkey Baster Records the next couple of weeks. When I get them in, or when I know that they're coming in, I will let you know. Because I always thought Rotting Corpse needed to be on vinyl. This will be the first time on vinyl. We tried to do it when we did the Texas Metal Archives, but it just didn't work out.
You guys grab this one?
Is that the box set?
No, that's their live album.
This is the live album with a couple of 3 bonus tracks on it, 3 studio bonus tracks on the D side of the record. It's so well recorded, man. I usually, live albums kind of suck, but this one's really good. So anyhow, I was just curious.
I think they recorded. I think they recorded that because Corey and one other guy had left the band, and they brought in new members, and I think that was just their way of introducing the new members, was doing that live album.
Yeah, they did a great job, man. It sounds fantastic. Corey didn't play on this. So I don't even remember. I forgot to.
No, he left the band before that tour.
I haven't even popped the plastic off this thing yet. I played the records, but I need to open it. It's a gatefold. I can do that now, I guess. Let's take a look before we go. It's already.
Hey, Fraser, the answer is no. And Eric, my eye, Morbid Saint, next month. I heard that we already mentioned that they're recording a new record, but man, I love that band.
Yep.
So the members are Bonds, Rich Ward, Dan Dryden, and Bud.
Yeah. That's okay. If you guys haven't heard them, it was a cool sound. It was almost like Georgia sludge with a rapper doing vocals. It was a really interesting sound that was different than everything else that was happening in the 90s from the Rage Against the Machines and whatnot.
Yeah, I've often heard people call them new metal, but
they were something different than that.
They were really their own thing. Well, and
he's really predate that.
Well, I don't know. It's about the same time, but Corey and his brother, I mean, they definitely have new metal ties because his brother's in Seven Dust, and they did like 3 or 4 bands together that were all new metal bands. But that was before he went the new metal route.
Who was the band from? I want to say from Chicago that was very similar to Stuck Mojo, but they had moments of almost jazz fusion, and it was fronted by an African American dude, and he wouldn't really rap. I mean, he was more of I saw him with Chimera one time, and oh my gosh! And I've actually got a bunch of their stuff. I just need to cull through the Candiria. Candiria? Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah,
Candiria. anyway,
a new record from Savatage. Who's going to be on it?
yeah. Is there anybody left?
I don't think so.
Hey, Fraser Dawson, are you talking about the Annihilator from Texas, or are you talking about the Annihilator from Canada? Because I know the Annihilator from Texas is about to release a new record.
The Annihilator from Canada right now, they're redoing all of their later albums that didn't get pressed to vinyl, and they're putting those out on vinyl.
Dude, I bought the last two. I bought the one where they were a 3-piece. What's the one with the video where he teaches the girl learns to fight and she brings a baseball bat with her and beats those dudes up?
Okay, so I just looked it up. Curtain Call. That's the name of the new Savatage album. John Oliver confirmed in April of 2023 that they would have a new album out in 2024. But I don't know who the members are, but
John Oliver. I think he's one of those guys that writes everything and just brings in his guys after that, huh?
Could very well be. Actually, he's got Jeff Plate, Johnny Lee Middleton, Al Petrelli, Chris Caffrey, Zach, Steve Waltz. Oh, he's got a bunch of the old guys.
Jeez. Okay.
Watchels. How do you say his name?
Well, a couple of those guys only work in November and December, so that kind of makes sense. They got plenty of time to record something.
Right on. All right. Well, I guess that's an hour. So we, I like doing shows like this. I don't know what you guys are watching think, but just us talking metal, and I get on the phone with Steve or I get on the phone with John, and we just start yakking away.
That's exactly how we talk.
Like, we better save some of this for the show. But that man, bunch of killer recommendations from the folks out there. And
hey, Metal Ben, what's going on, Metal Ben? Good to see you.
Hey, what's up,
man? Yeah, so that was a fun show. I enjoyed it, just chatting and talking about stuff we're listening to. So we need to do those more often. But we're definitely going to bring back the Carcass POW. So
we need to have a logo by that week.
We needed to do a Q&A from the chat type of show.
Yeah, we could do that too. It's been a while since we've done one of those.
Yeah.
I did contact Charlie Belmore today. He's out on this new project called Many Eyes. That's a new record coming out. It's way different than anything that he's ever done. It's not Dee Snider. It's not Toxic Holocaust. It's not Kingdom of Sorrow or any of those. It's
amazingly, those last couple Dee Sniders have been fantastic.
Yeah,
and that's much because of them.
Yeah,
probably
100%. Yeah.
But we'll get him back on there too. But yeah, I like the old sit and chat and ask questions. That's a killer.
New master album too. I didn't know that.
Oh
either.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Man, we could go on for another hour, but we won't.
All right, we'll get going, guys. Appreciate y'all watching. So, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us and give us the thumbs up and share the video, all that kind of stuff, so we can grow. And I love talking to all you guys. And wasn't even paying attention, but we had like I think we had pushing 40 people watching us live at one time, so that was kind of cool. So anyhow, that's it.
Right on.
Episode number, what are we on? 212?
212.
Just talking about metal.
So how do they get a hold of you, Scott?
You
All
can
gotta
get
do is just say Scott Waters on the
got
internet, and it pops up and has 50 references.
Yeah, I'm not the only. I'm actually friends with 3 other Scott Waters just on Facebook alone. So, but you can find me on Instagram at No Life Till Metal. You can find Carcass John at Instagram at Carcass John Art. You can find Steve on YouTube at Harmless Rebel 868. So there you go. That's how you can get a hold of us. You can actually just go to YouTube and type in No Life Till Metal or Scott Waters and find me there too. So, we are thinking of taking this show and moving it onto the new onto the No Life Till Metal channel as well. So we'll hopefully get that going in the next few weeks as well. So anyhow, that's it. Appreciate y'all watching. So for episode number 212, we would like to say metal will prevail. And this is where I leave you all hanging because we don't have a producer anymore. So I have to find the outro and then hit the button.